Hi everyone, so this is my new machine. It's a new toy. It's my 3D printer and it's made by Anet. I got it really cheap from eBay. I paid £90 for it, which it's just ridiculous really. That's so cheap for what it is. And it comes in different pieces. I mean, you get this piece, you get this piece, you get the bottom piece, and a few of these shafts. So this was going to be a how to set this thing up sort of video, but then I thought, well, it's fairly easy to actually put these parts together. So the way it works is you kind of get this bit and you put a nut through a recess, and then you have a little bolt with a washer and you fix it through. It's really easy. You get this big piece here, which is easily identifiable. That goes on the right side as you look at it. This one goes on the left side, and you know, it's really easy to set up like that. This bit here is a little bit more tricky. If I just show you, let me just check it's on the camera. This bit's a little bit more tricky. Basically what you have to do is you have to thread the shaft through and put the other shaft through. Then you get this assembly here and push it down onto the shafts. Then what you do is at the end, or near the end, you put these screw pieces in, and basically it's a little rubber, like I don't know what it's called really, but I'll zoom in and show you just to make it a bit more simple. Get a little rubber piece and it goes on the end of the motor, and you push it right down, and basically when the motor turns, it turns this, and it's quite a clever idea actually, to be fair, and it's cheap as well. So anyway, you put those on like that. So at this point, this assembly will be down here. You screw the two screws in at the same time and make sure it's level, and then if I just go back out, there we go. And this bit here is a little bit tricky as well, because behind it there's a little bracket, and you actually have to take this assembly apart. There's only a few screws, like you take the two screws out of the fan here, this comes apart, and then there are two screws on a bracket here, which is really simple. You put the two screws in, two nuts on the other end, tighten it up, and then you basically screw this bit back on. It's really simple. So yeah, that's kind of easy. But the difficult bit is the wiring. So I'm going to assume you've already put the main bits together, which to be honest isn't that difficult. So the wiring, as you can see, the wiring on mine is not done. It's all over the place. So let's start with the main power. So there's the main power. That's the power supply, of course. And for me, I've got a 3-pin plug, and I've got the live, neutral and earth, and I live in the UK, so that's how it works in my country. Yours might be slightly different. We have brown, blue and yellow and green in one, so that's really easy. And I'm going to show you now how to wire the rest of the stuff. On my one here, you notice that this piece is missing. It's just completely missing. There's no reason as to why or anything like that, but I figured that it's just because they've given me a plug, so I won't actually need the socket, because it's just an unnecessary expense. So yeah, let's just have a quick look at the rest of it while I'm here. There's the back there. I don't know if you can see. There's the back of the machine. So now I will show you how to wire the thing up. So to start with, where have I put what wires? Well, there's the what's it called now? The oh, I can't remember what it's called now. Nozzle. There's the nozzle fan, and you don't have to put that in there. It does it. It's already done for you. This is one of the long wires, and the long wire goes in here, and it's dual ended, of course, and they're different ends. So yeah, it doesn't matter too much. It won't fit in both ways, only one, so it makes it easier. So you need a long wire in there, and that's that out of the way. Here we've got the nozzle sensor wire, which you don't have to plug in. Again, that's already done for you. Here we've got the nozzle power wire with a green end, and I'll show you where to plug all these in a minute. Over here, bit twisted. Right, so this is the Right, this is one of the axes power cut switches, if you like, or termination switch or whatever. Now, it's important to know the axis actually. This here, up or down, in this particular device that's called the Z-axis. It's a bit weird really, but yeah, that's the Z-axis. So up and down is the Z-axis. Forward and backward is the Y-axis, and right and left is the X-axis, and that's really important. So anyway, this termination thing is actually for the X-axis. It stops it going left and right, well, left actually. So you've got that wire, you don't need to do anything with that, it's already plugged in for you, well, it's already connected for you, or it should be. Then that's pretty much all of those wires. Now I assume, I'm not going to look at the right side because I assume you've already plugged this bit in, which is of course the live, neutral and earth. So let's turn this the other way around now and I'll show you the next wires. So over here we have another termination, and this is for the Z-axis. Just make sure you can see. Yeah, so this is for the Z-axis, which is the termination switch just here. So that's the Z-axis. Then over here we've got the left motor for the Z-axis, and you have to plug this in. So it's a left motor for the Z-axis, and this is a short wire. Then we have the fan, which is a 3-pin thing. Then over here it's a long cable, and you know I just shown you the Z-axis left motor. This is the Z-axis right motor, so that's the long cable. Then I don't know, I can't remember, I've done this one now. This is a short cable, and this is the motor for the Z-axis. So no, actually, sorry, it's not the Z-axis. This is the X-axis motor. So the X-axis motor, you have to plug the short wire in. Okay. Then I think, is it time to turn around again? Yeah, it is. So move this round again. So you can see that. Hopefully you can just about see it. So make sure this switch is in here, and this little switch here, this termination switch here, this is the Y-axis termination switch, and it's blue, so if that's not plugged in, make sure it is. On my one it had actually come undone, so whatever, so that's that. Then here we've got the heat bed power, which is green, and here we've got the heat bed sensor, which is black and red. And I didn't actually show you before, but I did mention we've got the long cable here, which actually goes through 2 holes, and this goes to the right Z-axis motor, which is this one here. Right, so what I'm going to show you now is I'm just going to show you continuing really with this. So we've got two wires here. I'll just move the camera a little bit so you can see. So let's just zoom in a bit more. So there's the LCD board, and we've got 2 wires, and these need to be plugged in, of course. Well, let me just check the wires because I can't actually remember. No, they're all the same. So oops. So let's plug these in. So we'll put one in the bottom there and one at the top. So they're both plugged in there. So one of those is for the LCD and the other one is for the SD card, if I remember rightly. Okay, and now I'll move this thing around and I'll show you how to wire it to the actual motherboard. Hopefully. Okay, so to start with, make sure you wire these up correctly according to your country. Then what you should notice is right at the back here, I don't know if you can see, you might just be able to, there's a hole here. So with these black and red wires, just thread them through there like that. And then the way this works is the red ones go over here, which is the plus voltage from the transformer. Yep, you can still see that, that's good. Yeah, the lighting's not very good. That's because I'm not used to these sorts of I don't know, sets if you like. I'm not used to these types of videos. All of my videos are on desk rather than, well, actually, that, whatever, you know what I mean. So these black ones go to COM, so that's ground. Yeah, so from right to left we've got live, then we've got neutral, then we've got earth, then we've got a COM, and then we've got another COM and another COM, then we've got V+, and then we've got another V+, and another V+. You don't technically have to use these V+, you can use that V+ if you want, but I just thought I'd do it this way. So when that's done, you can flick that up to save getting a nasty shock. And now we'll move on to the next part. So let's start wiring this up now. I'll just turn it to this side, and the wires are a bit, well, a right mess. But yeah, we'll sort it. So let me just zoom in on the motherboard. Right, so I'm looking at the motherboard now, and this big wire that we took from the main power supply, this goes in here, and it's very easy, it just clips straight in, and that's done, and that's the first thing out of the way, so that's good. Now the next thing is, you see these two here, these two ribbon things, well, you should be able to see a hole just above here, and if you thread these through it makes it a bit easier. So there's one, and there's the second. So thread those through. Now the top one, so the one that goes to the top of the LCD, if you see here, it actually says LCD, so that's common sense. That goes in there, like that. And the bottom one is for the SD card, which goes there. So let me just zoom in a bit more so you can see. Hopefully you can see that. So the top one is the LCD, the bottom one is the SD card. And it would be nice if we could tidy these out of the way really, but I don't know, I guess I'll leave mine like that for now. So what's next? Well, let's look at the heat bed. So the heat bed, we've got two wires coming off it. So the heat bed, we've got this one, the big green one. So heat bed goes to number 3, which is there. Okay, let me just go up again. So the heat bed power goes to this one. And now the heat bed sensor, so where's the heat bed sensor? So it's this little thing here. And this one goes to the bottom of these three here. So I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see. So the heat bed sensor goes to this one here. Just like that. So we're starting to get a bit of a mess here already. So the cut-off switch for the y-axis, which is this one here, that goes to here, which is the third from the right at the very bottom. So this one here, the x-axis one, goes on the right side. So that goes on the very end there, like that. So the z-axis cut off, again we skip one, and that goes there, like that. Okay. Next we'll look at the fans. So we've got this little fan here, which is right next to the motherboard, and that's going to go to fan 2 on here. Now these are actually labelled. Fan 2 is on the right side here. And the other one, which is the nozzle fan, that's going to go through here again. So through the centre. And the nozzle fan is going to go to fan 3, which should be on the left side. There it is. Fan 3. So what are we left with now? We're left with the 4 motors and a lot of the nozzle stuff. So the nozzle sensor, that will go over here on the right side. So you see this kind of top right here, this will go on the top. It's quite tricky to get in there. There we go. Oh, and actually that should have gone through the centre, so I'll take that back out. Put it through the centre, and we'll keep everything tidy. So again, that's going to go through the top there like that. I can get it in. There we go. So what we've got left now, we've got the nozzle motor, and we've got nozzle power. So we'll do nozzle power next. So again, through the centre and round the back. And nozzle power will go into, it's obviously one of the green ones, and it's the first one. Let's have a look. Actually, I think I may have just done something wrong there. The heat pad should be number 1, and this nozzle here should be number 3. I think, anyway. Next one we'll do is the X-axis motor, which is down the back here. So the X-axis motor, sorry, no it's not. The X-axis motor is this one here. Sorry about that. So X-axis motor, that's left and right of course, so to go left and right. X-axis motor goes on the right over here, so that goes in this one. Okay, that goes there. Hopefully you can see that. I'll just zoom in so you can see. Just there. And then the next one is the Y-axis motor. So Y is front and back. So the Y-axis motor is the back one, the back motor, and that goes next to it. So that's going to go there. Okay, then the one after that is the, right now, it's where it gets kind of complicated. So with the Z-axis, which is the up and down axis, you have two sides. You have the up and down, or Z right motor, and the Z left motor. Now I'm not exactly sure if this is absolutely necessary, but this is the way I'm going to do it. So the Z right motor, I'm going to put in next. So the Z right motor, which is the long one, which goes underneath a big hole. So the Z right motor I'm going to put next. So let's put this through here. These cables are a mess now. Z right motor in there, and now the Z left motor, which is, I don't know, this one here, which is the one kind of there, just near us. Well, actually, it's at the bottom on the left, so if you turn the thing to face it, it's on your bottom left. And that motor goes, now this is even weirder, this one goes kind of underneath the other one, underneath the one on the right, so that goes there like that. And then the throttle motor is next, so I'll just put this through the centre again and around the back, and this one goes here, which is underneath the, underneath this bit here, there. So that's everything. Zoom in a bit more if I can. Oh no, I can't. So that's all the wiring done pretty much. So when you've done all that and checked all your wiring, and probably checked your own manual as well, just in case it's slightly different, if you turn it on it should look like this. So at the moment I've got wires everywhere, it's a hell of a mess. But I've just checked it to see if it turns on and all that, and it does turn on, and it shows this. And that's good news for me, so I'm going to switch it off and I'm going to tidy the wires up.